All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. If you have questions for Coach Springer, go ahead and raise your hand, and I will call on you. Yeah, we'll start with Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
First of all, who's your all-time favorite Spur?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to have to go ahead and I'm going to go with Tim Duncan. I'm born and raised Tim
Good
Duncan
choice.
now. That's my dude right there. That's my
Good
dude.
choice. But with football, what have you seen so far out of the guys that you've been coaching? It seems like punting seems like there's some good competition there.
Great competition right now. Obviously, last year we were very disappointed in how we finished the season punting overall. You guys gave great effort. We didn't perform there as well as we needed to be to win games. And this offseason, we really take ownership of that as a core group, as myself first. Then putting that pressure on our punters to really work hard this offseason. They've done a great job so far. We still got some time to go, and those guys are on it though, and they want to be successful. And that's all you can really ask for right there. Those guys are all in. They're all in for Arizona. They're all in for the fans. They're all in for the players. They want to be the reason why we're flipping field position and putting us in great position to win games.
And Jacob Meeker Hackett looks very impressive. A different story from him because he went to the JUCO route, then went to Texas State, and now he's at Arizona. How did you find him, or how did he reach out to you guys?
Hey, 2020, man, social media, Twitter. He's a Tucson product. Trying to get him to walk on last year, and he paid his dues. He tried for a couple semesters. We finally were able to get him on. He played scout receiver for us last year because we just needed bodies over there. And I told him, hey, you're gonna get a chance your senior year to compete with Kyle. And so far, he's taking ownership of that. He's another guy who really worked hard in the offseason. And it means a lot to him. He's a hometown guy. Just like Matt Aragon, just means a lot to him. He cares about the city, this town, and he really wants to do well for Arizona and wants to compete to start.
And for Lucas, what are you hoping to see out of him this year?
Consistency from the field goal range. He's one of the best kickoff legs in the country. Phenomenal there. He has all the tools that you love, and we're just trying to hone down that consistency. I love where his mentality is at. He's a guy that wants to be the best, thinks about it, works like it, and that's what you can ask for as well from that guy. I mean, the core group of our specialists right now have really taken ownership on their own to be the best they can be. And when you have that right there, I truly enjoy coaching him from that end.
And how has your relationship grown with him since you first came to Arizona?
Yeah, first year, I mean, it was good from the jump, but I think we've really vibed well over the last couple of years because now truly trying to understand his body and how it works. One of the days where he may need a rest, kicking's it's a different sport than playing linebacker, playing receiver. So when does he need time where he can rest his leg, feel confident the next day? Is that 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week? And I put a lot of ownership on him to tell me that because he knows his body better than I do. And just feeling that vibe from him and really connecting there is what we're trying to look for. And so that when we get in game, right, we trust each other and we know that he can come down and make that big time kick to help us win the game.
Next question will go Brian Peterson, AZ Desert Swarm.
Coach, so far in the college football season, particularly in the first game or two for teams, there's been a ridiculous amount of mistakes on special teams, muffed punts, missed extra points, things like that, a lot of foul ups on return coverage. Are you concerned at all that with trying to rush to a season and having to install so much that would have gone in the spring that there's concerns that these mistakes are just inevitable?
Yes and no. Watching the first 2 weeks in the NFL, college football, a lot of mistakes. And again, you're exactly on point. A lot of guys have probably rushed to do certain things, skip certain things. I'm trying to make an ownership in this fall camp right now that we're going through to really work the situational stuff that's been happening in college football, to make sure we install those things, to go live field goal, live punt, to get our specialists, going against that type of pressure. Because they got to feel it now versus the first time in the game if you're not doing anything contact-wise. And really, really stressing that in my meetings as well. And showing them the clips of, whether it's Atlanta Falcons, Cowboys, onside kick, or a muff punt because of a certain situation, should have fair caught it. Those are things that are definitely lose you games. And for us, we struggled a little bit last year on some of these things. So we're definitely trying to really, really hit those things right now in fall camp so that we're prepared when we're going against a very, very good Utah team who does a great job on stuff.
with the ability to play anybody this year, unlimited amount of time without it affecting any eligibility, does that work in your favor potentially, that you can have a lot of dedicated special teams guys, that you're not as concerned with having the overworked guys that are already on the field for offense or defense that then have to play special teams?
Yeah, and that's the whole point of it. You know, with our team, I'm trying to get all these young guys to get on early and just play them right now. Just get them used to it on KOC, KOR, whatever it may be. Hey, get them rolling now. Don't wait till week 3, week 4, because in the 7-game season you can do that. And they're young guys; they're not going to lose eligibility. So get them on now, introduce them to college football now, and get them ready for next year as well. And then when you have guys like Thomas Reed, leaders like that really stress the points of it, it definitely helps.
Thank you.
Next question, we'll go back to Justin Spears.
So which players have stood out in practice as kick returners and punt returners?
Yeah, that's a good question. Last year, Tavion Cunningham returned the ball for us. He's back on track to where he's at right there. He's doing a good job. Guys like Jamari Joyner, obviously was a punt returner for us last year, still back there at kickoff return, getting some quality reps. Brightwell, doing a great job for us. Michael Wiley, Chris Rowland. I feel really good about our depth from a kickoff return perspective, because we got guys back there that are just natural returners and that want to be back there as well. And then if you look at punt return, then you got Jamari Joyner, guys like Michael Wiley, Chris Rowland, Brian Castile is doing a phenomenal job for us as well. Trying to find that number 2 guy who's going to be the guy out there that wants to have the ball in his hands, fearless. And that's what you're looking for out of punt return. That's a tough position to play.
And is there a freshman that has stood out to you in terms of coverage or anything else on special teams?
I want to say just one. There's been several that have been phenomenal for us so far. Jaden Young's been doing an amazing job for us. Frank Brown, DJ Morning, okay? Stoops is doing a great job for us as well. Those are 4 guys off the top of my head that I can think about that are just what they're doing, very smart. They pick up things very easily, and I know they're going to factor into helping us this year.
Next question, we'll go to Matt Moreno. Wild.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, you guys are kind of coming to the halfway point of things at this point. What's going to be kind of the focus you have on these guys the rest of this way as you guys start to get closer to game prep?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. We're going to start game prepping for Utah in the next couple of weeks. And with the fact that it's not a true fall camp, you have less practices, less meeting time. We've already kind of tried to start doing that on special teams, introducing a little bit of Utah right now. And really after Saturday, we're going to start honing down on what they do schematically and trying to get a great game plan together and have the right 1 to 2 deep ready to play that game.
All right, thank you, Coach. Oh, actually, sorry, looks like we have one last question coming in from Justin Spears.
Yeah, this is my last question, Coach. I know this is kind of a broad question, but what has been the most challenging part about this year from your personal experience, and what has it taught you?
Great question. I have not looked at anything as a challenge this year per se. There's a silver lining in everything, in my opinion. I think this year really made me take a step back and realize how I can teach my guys better by being more creative, because we've had to be more creative. And then from a personal life standpoint, getting better spirituality with reading and making myself better as a person so that I can serve my players better. Be a better teammate, like we tell them, right? Well, I'm trying to be a better coach, a better guy off the field for these guys and serve them and really try to show them that, hey, I care about these guys and I care about the city, this university. I'm going to do the best I can. And I think that's what's made me realize, because we didn't have football for 5-6 months right there. And it made you kind of sit back and hold up. I got it really good right now. I got a great life that's going on. So if some people can look at it a negative way, I've taken it as a positive all the way, and it being my personal life and treating these guys a little better.
Great. Thank you, Coach. We'll be back in just a minute with Thomas Reed.
How you guys doing?
All right, we'll start taking questions for Thomas Reed. First one will go Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
So Thomas, you've been here for a little while now. How has your role changed, and what's it like just getting out there with the guys this year?
So now my role, I feel like my role has changed in the fact that since like as a receiver, I'm like the oldest in the room right now. So I'm kind of a leadership figure both as a receiver and on the special teams.
And which receivers have you kind of taken under your wing?
So I've taken Mejan. I've been trying to help Mejan out in special teams, and as well as Di, and and Booby. Me and Booby, we work out all the time together. We do catching drills from time to time.
And Dylan's name's actually been brought up a few times during camp. What have you seen out of him, and what makes him an impactful player?
Say that again.
We've heard Dylan's name a few times during camp. What have you seen out of him in practice so far that can get him on the field early?
I think that he's smart. He's picking up on the offense really fairly quick. And I think that's probably just going to be the biggest thing that helps him get on the field early is because he's picking up on the offense.
And what about a guy like Booby Curry? What have you seen out of him in practice?
Just consistency, smart. He's being physical. I think that he's definitely taking a step up from where he was last year.
And from a quarterback standpoint, we've heard a lot of good things about Grant's progress. What's your overall assessment of the quarterback room?
I think that Grant has also taken a step up too as a leader as well as a quarterback with his throwing. And then I also think that behind him, we also have some good talent that can come into the game and help us if we need it.
And when you guys are in practice, are you in like a certain pod with a group of receivers, or how does it work out when you guys do drills?
So we do drills just inside receivers or outside receivers, just how we've always done it.
Okay. But there aren't any like specific receivers that you're always working with?
Oh, no.
Okay. And then from a defensive perspective, which guys have you gone up against the most in practice?
So I couldn't really tell you because only thing with all this Zoom and everything now, I don't really see many defensive players. So, like a lot of the young guys, I don't really know most of their names, which I'm usually good at knowing people's names. But with Zoom and everything, it's kind of been a struggle for me to actually get to know some of the younger defensive players. And then with me, I've been doing both inside and outside receiver, so I've kind of been getting both looks, so I can't really say.
Okay. And what about on teams? What's your role like on that?
So special teams, I feel like my role is just being a leader and being the veteran player that I am, because I have players that come up to me, ask me questions, and I help them out with learning the schemes and knowing what they're supposed to do. So I just feel like I'm just supposed to, my role is to lead and just be the example of what
Video was frozen for like 20
what you have to do on special teams.
All right, next question will go to Matt Moreno. Go AZ Cats.
We've heard a few different things about just the scheme and kind of what the defense is doing that looks a little bit different. From you being on the offensive side, what have you seen that's maybe a little bit different that we can expect from the Arizona defense this fall?
I think that they're bringing a lot of energy right now. That's one thing that I've noticed, that they're bringing a lot more energy than they have before.
All right, we have time for one more question. We'll go back to Justin Spears.
I asked Coach Springer this during the last session, but this is a broad question, but what has this year taught you, and what do you take away out of what has been a chaotic year up to this point?
Well, for me, I've had a crazy year actually, because in January I had surgery on my shoulder, and so I didn't do anything for most of the spring, and so I think during that time I just had a lot of time to sit back and think and try to become a better person as well as a better football player, and just learn things football-wise, like learn our scheme inside and out, and just learn about the game of football.
And how did you get that shoulder injury?
So a couple years ago, it actually happened my sophomore year, and I just been playing through it since then.
Okay. And how is it now?
Oh, it's fine. I feel great. I feel like I'm 100%.
Yeah. And when you were talking, when you just said you were, you had a thought process, you were thinking about a lot of things, when you had some downtime. What did you think about, and how did that affect you for this year?
So I really had a lot of time to think about like my role and what I wanted to do and what I wanted out of this year and the kind of player that I wanted to be. And I feel like doing that and having that time, I had a lot of time to just hone in on my skills and just sit back and learn. And that was the biggest thing for me, was just learning and taking information in, because I spent a lot of time not being able to physically do anything.
All right, thank you, everybody. That's all we have for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow evening after practice.